Seire is a sort of supernatural horror thriller mystery film. The act of Seire is after you have a baby, you're not supposed to go to any funerals for 3 weeks. However, Woo-jin is a husband with a new baby, and one of his old friends dies, so he decides to sort of ditch this silly superstition that his mother-in-law and his wife believe in, and he goes and visits the sort of funeral of an old girlfriend of his whom he didn't treat very well, and he brings home something with him, and it starts to affect the family. So this has a pretty good concept for a horror thriller film. However, the movie isn't scary, and it's more of him just being a real shithead. Like, literally, Woo-jin is probably one of the worst characters to ever exist in film, because he just doesn't do anything positive for his entire family ever. He goes to the funeral really late, doesn't tell his wife that it's an old girlfriend. He's there and he tries to worm his way out of, talking to other people. We find out he didn't treat her very well. The woman has a twin sister whom he keeps hanging out with, and they don't really bring up any conflict or anything. It's basically just him coming back home. Things start happening, misfortunes. He's not doing things correctly, and then she yells at him. You're not really sure if this is just sort of a mental superstition thing that's plaguing his wife, and she's just having postpartum depression, or if it's something actually sinister and supernatural that's sort of haunting him. And then he puts all of its eggs into one basket for a non-ending, really. It's just all that build-up, all that acting, all that story really doesn't go into anything new. I thought they were going to do something with the twin sister aspect, but the film just isn't really interested in giving you much of a story. It's basically the equivalent of like, my wife is sick, she's better at the end. That's not what happens in this movie. That's just an example of how simplistic the story is. It's not really a terrifying ghost story that it sets up to be. There's just lots of repetition too. There's some nightmares, there's a lot of rotting fruit. It's not scary. The movie's pretty awful. I give it a 3 out of 10.